Hey everyone, and welcome to the very second episode of the Diabloherald. This is the podcast where we talk about everything relating to Diablo and the Australian and New Zealand community. I am here today with Patrick. How you going, Patrick?
Very well, very well.
That's good. And Curtis. How you going, Curtis?
Good, thanks.
How's the weather in New Zealand?
Crap.
That's good. Cool. So today we've got some awesome topics to talk about. We're doing a bit of an interim show. We are going to be doing this show weekly. It's going to be released on the Monday night. And this is awesome. My open office has died. This is good. Whoops, that's not what I want to do.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna have to start reopen open office. So I'm gonna do it from memory. Okay. What are we talking about? We're talking about Diablo Wrath. We're talking about what else are we talking about? I can't remember. My memory's actually really
key
bad.
Points from the developer chat.
Yep. Key points from developer chat.
We're looking at installer times.
Yep, and character profiles.
Yep.
That was the other one. And then Curtis's theory crafting, a few skill combos that he's put together that are going to come in useful in theory, considering that's all we can do at this stage. Now I have to find the process for my open office.
Also going over the forum topics. One from each forum this time, is it?
Yeah. Yep. Try and keep it to a minimum. Actually, we've got two from the Diablo forums this time. Go to process. End process, you evil process. Okay. Let's start that process again. Not recovered.
It's just not open to cooperating.
Maybe I should have got Microsoft Office. Now I know why.
Could well be.
Okay. Open recent documents. Show notes. Oh man, I didn't even save it after the last one. Oh well, that doesn't matter. Cool. So, first topic is the Wrath video. I'd imagine that both of you watched this. What was your thoughts, Patrick?
It was very cool. Wasn't as long as I would have liked, and I was thinking what you were gonna say and what I was gonna answer with when it came around to this, because it's more stuff. They're doing something different. They're using a very unique guy. Like the director's cool, the studio's cool. I really love all of that. But I just really wanted some more, and it didn't have the tension that I'd kind of want. It just was like, here's some angels, they kill the snot out of everything that they see, blah blah blah, and sure, they had the little bit at the end, which is do we have our spoiler thing up? Yeah, I should have rented. Oh, that's fail. Oh, we're playing the video anyways. Okay, well, we're too late now. But
I'm sure anyone who cares has watched it.
Yeah. But in any case, it was. I just would have liked to have seen some serious tension going on in there. You never felt that anything was going to not go a particular way, and it just sort of flowed on in line with that.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was cool. I would love to see them do more. I don't think that there's anything more planned, but I would really love to see more.
I suppose when you've only got a video that's like 6 minutes long, there's not really time to, build any kind of tension or, conflict. It's just kind of like, this happened, and then this happened.
Well, I was thinking about that as well, and I have a good retort. This is sort of one of those, this is the little bit of video that you get to watch before you watch the real video, right?
Yeah.
And my favorite one of these of all time was for the sequel to The Matrix, right? And they had this little video called Final Flight of the Osiris, and you can look it up on YouTube, and it was the same studio that did the Final Fantasy, that was the latest Final Fantasy movie of the day, and that was really cool. It only went for a few minutes, and you really got some tension, you got some real action, and it really set the scene for the new movie. And you didn't need to see it to have caught, you wouldn't have missed anything out if you didn't watch it and you went into the sequel to The Matrix, but it was mighty fine. I would have loved to have seen something that managed to get that sort of level of tension.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. It's told us
So
a few
you
things
can
we
do it
didn't
in
know.
6 minutes.
Right, yeah, I guess. Suppose that's right. Did you have thoughts on it, Curtis?
Yeah, I just thought it was really cool, just a bit short.
Mhm.
And I'm just trying to figure out how it does fit into the lore, really.
Yep.
Like, yeah, it's kind of weird how they killed him, and then it's like, how did that lead on to like Diablo 1?
Yep. Well, I think so. For anyone that doesn't know, it's basically set way before the game. So it's set before the creation of Sanctuary, which is the setting of the games. Um, it's basically just something that happened during the war between heaven and hell, and the idea that I get, something that what it makes me think is I imagine it as how Diablo, maybe it's how he makes it into the world of Sanctuary. I don't know, maybe by them sort of getting rid of him in this way, it's allowed him to enter the world of Sanctuary through, the way he does it in the first game, which is, eventually inhabiting the king's son. Yeah, I think that would seem to fits well enough for me with my limited knowledge of only knowing things from the games because I haven't read any books or anything.
Gonna
Yeah.
have to burst a bubble there. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because when he's in Tristram, when you encountered Diablo and Tristram the very first time, Diablo 1, he's been there for a couple of centuries,
Okay.
but nothing more than that, and he was locked in there by the Haradrim. So
Right.
before that, he and his two brothers were running around running amok, and all the Haradrim got together and locked him away. So that's definitely what precedes Diablo 1.
Okay.
But how they got to the world in the first place, that I'm not so sure about.
Yep.
That could well be covered in a book or something.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the what do they call them? The lesser evils banished them, didn't they?
Oh, of
Oh yeah, of
course.
course. I've
Yeah.
read that.
Duh.
Derp. Cool.
Good work.
Well, I think that
Yeah,
pretty
so
much.
so that's how they got there. So yeah, sorry.
Yep. I think that pretty much covers that. Um,
Sweet.
cool. So we'll go on to the next topic. It is the character profiles. Now, this was only announced today, not that long ago. What is it? A couple of hours, 7 hours. What did you say it was, Curtis? 7 hours?
Oh, just a few hours ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically, I suppose, like the World of Warcraft Armory. I haven't actually read this, which is not very good, but I've been working today, so screw you guys.
I've read it.
Curtis has read it. What is it, Curtis?
It's basically just you can view everything, all the statistics to do with your character on the Battle.net website
Yep.
in the Diablo part. So, like, I'm looking at a picture now, and it's got the guy's level, what class he is, his name, and then it's got a picture of his inventory, and it looks like you can search gear bonuses so like at the moment it's got his magic find, and then it shows where it comes from. So on each item it will just show the magic find on the items that have it,
Yep.
and then it's got its attributes, how much life, how much fury,
And it's
all
giving
the
you like,
skill choices. It's got everything pretty much.
yep, how many elite kills you've had,
Yeah, elite kills. It's even got your followers and what they've got
Ah.
equipped
and your
skills.
progression through the game, like how far you've been.
Yeah,
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. It's something that I guess we kind of all knew was coming, whether it was done by Blizzard or somebody else, since they have the APIs out. It's kind of no surprise that we have this kind of stuff happening.
Yeah.
Did you have any opinion on it, Patrick?
Yes. um, well, one thing that was very interesting to me is, well, I was really stoked to see that there was lifetime kills, because I think that's a really important stat. I want to know how many tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of stuff I've killed. So that was really cool. I was
Oh
really
yes,
happy to
because
see
of
that.
course you're the achievement guy.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah,
like,
that's
and I'm going to be playing this for years, right? Like, this is going to be my game for a long time to come.
Yep.
So I'm really, really happy to see that.
Planning
But
on having some impressive numbers.
yeah,
This
like,
is this is how much time I spent playing this game.
man, if I had one of these screens for Diablo 2, people would be damn well impressed, right? Anyway,
I know people
um,
were impressed when I told them how many days I had playing World of Warcraft.
oh, really?
No, they were pretty much like, "Wow, you have no life."
Yeah, okay, yeah, some people will be impressed, and some people, including my wife, will be dismayed. But irrespectively, now there were some other interesting things on there. From the achievement perspective, there was the particular guy account, whatever,
Yep.
on there had 6370 achievement points, and that showed 42% completion, which I found interesting because that means that there would be approximately uh, 15,170 achievement points available, which is a lot if you're used to playing StarCraft 2, which only
That's
has about 5,000.
wow. That's a lot of achievement points.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to do,
How
huh?
many achievement points were in the beta? Do you know?
It was only about 390 or 400, low 400, something like
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Which makes sense. But so there was definitely that. That was cool. And then there was something else I had. Um, really like the elite kills as well.
Yep.
Um, now there was something that I think is relevant to Australians and anyone who's been playing on the Southeast Asian server, in that we don't know yet exactly what this is going to sync with. What I expect is going to happen is that if you're playing Diablo 3 on your America's account, because that's where you're going to default to. If there's ever going to be any like cross-game options to click over to like a WoW character or a WoW account or a StarCraft account, you're going to get what's on your NA server if you're used to playing StarCraft 2, which in my particular experience is kind of annoying because I was playing all my stuff on Southeast Asia, so I've got pretty much just about all of the Southeast Asian achievement points you can get, but I'm going to look like a total scrub if somebody looks at me on StarCraft 2 over there. But that's just something relevant just to know, what sort of things will be carrying over. Because Blizzard have said a few times now that at the end of the day, they do want people to be able to see what somebody's achieved across multiple games.
Yep. Okay.
But yeah, and the only other thing that was interesting was it actually shows you artisan progression as well.
Yep.
And so for those who aren't following this stuff like we're following this stuff, you have a blacksmith and you have a jeweler that are artisans. They craft stuff for you, and you can level them up, and you can teach them teach them recipes similar to the old Heredic cube, but you have to teach them stuff, and that costs gold and whatnot. Now, the one thing that's cool from a co-op play or a party play perspective, or especially even a guild perspective, is that the blacksmith and the jeweler you'll be investing like very specifically into one of them, or typically you can invest specifically into one of them and like a whole bunch of recipes. So if John, let's say you and I, we're best buddies, BFFs, we play all the time, and I might invest all of my stuff in the blacksmith, ignore my jeweler, and you do this. You do the opposite, investing in the jeweler. And whenever I need a jewel, I hit you up, and vice versa.
Yep.
So if you can
that's
see,
a good idea. Do you want to do that? Because that'd be good.
yeah, damn straight, sounds good. And this will be very, very important from a guild perspective because if you're targeting, say, for example, axe crafting. You're going to be maxing your blacksmith and you're going to be unlocking axes. If you're in a guild, that could be especially valuable, and people can come and see it, so you don't have to lie about it. People can check it out and see what you've unlocked.
Yep.
I think that's really cool. That'll help people who are really pushing that highest level of efficiency.
Yeah, it'd definitely be good. I remember back in the old days being in an officer in a guild and having a forum and gathering everyone's profession data from the Warcraft thing and just putting it all in a thread, and it took me like hours, and everyone was like, that was awesome, it's great you did that. And it was like a trade thing, everyone they knew who to go to get whatever they needed. But now you don't have to do that anymore, you can just look it up. So that's really cool. Awesome. All right, well, the next topic is the key points from the developer chat. What is it? Was it Best Buy?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have Best Buy, but yeah, they had this key points. Well, they had this developer chat, and XD Firestorm, a user of the D3 forums, has put together just basically bullet points on what it was about and what they said. And I've got them here. So I've got bullet points of his bullet points, because there's a lot of things that they talked about that it's kind of like, yeah, well, duh, we know that happened like 3 months ago. So I've just taken a few of them. One of them is the battle tags thing. I think a lot of people didn't seem to understand how that was supposed to work. If you've played StarCraft 2, you'll know that you'll have to make a character name. It's essentially exactly the same as that. You basically just type in a name, and Blizzard give you that name with a number on the end of it. The number's unique, so there's no way that your name's ever going to be taken, because there might be like 200 other Huegos out there, but I'm Huego 211 or whatever. So the cool thing about that is, you can have your name without having to worry about putting a stupid number after it, which happens anyway. But
that's not visible, though.
Yeah, it's not visible in the game, and your battle tag is what other players are going to see above your head in the game. They're not going to see your character name except for like questing stuff, like when NPCs are talking to your character or your character says something. That's when your name will pop up. But apart from that, it's going to be battle tag, which is cool because people don't have to remember all your different characters. Everyone is going to know who you are. Yeah. Did you guys have anything else to say, Curtis? Anything to say about this?
No, just that it's just pretty much what you just said.
Yeah.
About how it's cool.
I just vomited all the information.
No, just the last point about not having to remember all the names. Like, I remember playing Diablo 2 with some friends, and we'd create new characters, and then you'd get lost as to who's who, because they've all got these new crazy names.
Yep.
But yeah, so it's good in that respect.
Yep. Patrick, anything to add on that one?
I heard that there was a lot of whinging about this, because somebody comes in and they have the healer monk, and so they're called Dr. Monk or whatever, and they want that to appear, and they want that like that character to flow through.
Yep.
And like, whilst I get that, this seems like a really good way to do it, because like in Diablo 2, you could see what somebody's account name was when they entered a game and when they left, but you couldn't see it while they were playing. And yeah, like if you played with a whole bunch of different people all the time, and you're playing different characters yourself as well, and you're mixing it up, yeah, it could get confusing. So I'm really happy with it. I think it's a really good system. I think they've done a really good job. And whilst people might be irked at first, I think once you use it, you'd call the alternative really stupid.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it works really well in StarCraft, and names are even less important in StarCraft than they are in Diablo. So, yeah, it's good. Cool. Well, the next point that I picked out was something that Jay Wilson mentioned, the Nephilim Valor buff. It kicks in at level 60, so whether you're in Inferno or Hell, at level 60 you'll start getting that Nephilim Valor buff. For anyone that doesn't know, basically what that is every time you kill, what is it? Unique
Elites or
elites or
champions.
champions,
Yeah.
which seem to pop up quite a lot. I mean, they popped up pretty often in the beta, it seemed. You get a stack of this buff, and each stack increases your magic and gold find, which is going to make more things drop when you get to the boss. It goes away if you respec, if you change any of your skills, or if you start a new game. So basically, the whole idea with it is to make people lock into one build throughout the whole game, and the more champions you kill, the more magic find you're going to have, and that's the idea with it. But yeah, anyway, in the talk, the Best Buy developer chat, he just mentioned that it kicks in at level 60, not in Inferno, because some people seem to be confused about that fact. Yeah, so that's basically all it is. Do you guys have anything to add on that? There's not that much else to
I
say.
just think the whole Nephilim Valor is a really good idea because it makes the most efficient way to play is to just play from, say, the start of an act.
Yep.
Go through, kill as many champions as you can, and then by the time you got your stack to max, you should be at about the act boss, and then you kill the act boss to finish it off and get a huge drop.
Yep.
Just makes it a lot more fun to play and to farm than just repeating the same guy over and over and over and over.
Yep.
So yeah,
I think
I'm pretty stoked about that.
I think it probably is going to add a bit of excitement to it as well, because every time you come across a champion or whatever, it's going to be like, oh, there's one, like
Yeah,
it's
there's
going
one
to be
gonna kill him.
exciting when
Yeah.
those enemies come up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's definitely, I think, going to be more fun. Anything that feels like grinding is not fun, and I think that's what runs feel like. So, yeah.
And it's kind of like act bosses will start to feel like act bosses again instead of just that guy you have to keep killing over and over.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's just
Definitely. Patrick,
but an
anything?
ebb and flow.
Just on the Nephilim Valor system generally, I love it. I think it's fantastic. I think that it's going to have some really interesting things to think about when you join a game. And this is something I'm covering in that video I'm making on my channel. But I think the most classic example is the wizard. As the wizard, you can deal arcane damage, ice or cold damage, fire damage, and what's her other one? Lightning. Still, it's a fair bit of lightning as well. And each of those skills has a passive mastery as well. So you join a game and you're playing with say a witch doctor. Witch doctor's going to deal of those. Going to deal mostly fire. Definitely not going to do any arcane or lightning or cold. So if you typically play as a fire wizard, perhaps at that stage you want to switch to an arcane type wizard and use the arcane mastery skill at the start of the game, and you stick with it throughout because of who you're playing with. So I think that's really cool. It adds that decision-making process right when you join a game.
Mm-hmm.
But also, just specifically on this change, this is a buff to magic finding, because depending, like if you're familiar with Diablo 2 and like trying to find particular items, the highest level was not necessarily the best place.
Yeah.
In Diablo 2, the classic example was for a Stone of Jordan. If you wanted your best chance of finding a Stone of Jordan specifically, you actually should be killing Andariel on Nightmare difficulty, because that was when that was the biggest decent monster after it became available, because her level was, let's just say her level was level 47, and a Stone of Jordan could drop after you were killing level 45 monsters.
Yep.
She was the next big decent monster along. Now, if you were killing level 60 monsters, then you had all these other uniques that could drop instead of a Stone of Jordan that weren't as good. So, like, it was something that was really counterintuitive. But at the end of the day, when you did the math, if you want a Stone of Jordan, go kill Andariel. Now, that could mean that, if you're chasing particular uniques or a particular set item in particular, then with the Nephilim Valor system now, you've got that kicking in on your side as soon as you are level 60. And that's cool.
Yeah.
It'll be a little bonus for those people that really know their stuff.
Yep. It definitely adds like an extra, I guess, just an extra mechanic for once you reach max level, to keep it interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. And the last point from the developer chat was about the gem tiers. So I think Jay Wilson had stated in the past that gems were only going to drop up to tier 8, the 8th level. So there's 14 tiers of gems. And above that level, they had to be crafted. Was it, sorry, level 5? He'd said it was level 5 that he said.
Yeah.
But he's corrected himself with this chat saying that they drop up to level 8. So up to level 8, they'll be dropping off monsters. To make anything higher than that, you need to craft it. And that's, yeah, he was just correcting himself on that. Curtis, did you want to say something about that?
Yeah, well, like previously, because you got your 14, and if you wanted to make a level 14, you had to collect level 5 gems. And you'd have to get, I think the math worked out to be you needed 20,000 level 5 gems to create one level 14. But now, since you can find level 8 gems, you only need 729 of those to make a max level. So, yeah, it makes it a bit easier,
Oh dear.
a bit more realistic to get a high level.
Yeah, definitely more realistic.
Yeah.
Yep. Patrick, anything to say on that?
No, not especially. 700-ish sounds like for something that's supposed to be really awesome. That's a reasonable number.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Compared to 20,000 at least, anyway.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, let's see. The next item of news is the Blizzard. What did they do? They made. Let me find it. The launch day preparation guide. So they released this preparation guide just to get everyone ready for the game. One of the things that they mentioned in it, well, there's two things: installer unlock times. So for us, New Zealand, it's going to be 3:01 a.m. on May 15th. You'll be able to install the game. Australia West, 11 p.m. on the 14th. Central 12:31 on the 15th, and East 1:01 a.m. on the 15th. So yeah, you'll be able to install the game on May 15th and download the patch and be ready to play. The other thing that came up with this, and it's a correction, for what we were talking about in the last podcast, if anyone listened to that, they said that they'll be turning on global play when the game has launched in all regions. So for anyone that's not sure on what global play is, it's basically the name they've given to allowing everyone to play on any server. So you can play on the Americas server or Asia or Europe. Now the European server is going up before everyone else. I thought I was going to be able to play on that because I could install the game earlier. But we won't be able to change from the Americas server till the Americas server is up. So we all have to wait till, 5 p.m. for us, 7 p.m. for Curtis or the New Zealanders, which really annoyed me because I thought I was going to get to play the game earlier. But turns out I'm not. That sucks. Did you guys have anything to say on this, Curtis?
Well, I'm kind of confused because it says that servers are going up at separate times. Is that correct?
Yep, so the
Yeah.
different regional servers, yeah.
But global play is going live once the last server is on. So
Yep.
does that mean that we can still play on what? We'll be playing on the Americas, eh?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
basically
So we don't-
you're locked to the Americas server until
okay.
all the servers are up.
Because there's no unless. Because what is our default server? Is it the
Americas.
Americas?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. Don't worry then.
So we can't change until the last server's up. So it basically means that we have to wait till
Yeah.
5 p.m. or the 7 p.m. for you guys.
Okay, that's
So
cool.
yeah.
I just wanted to check those dates you said there.
Yep. Did I
It's
say it wrong? Did I stuff it up?
maybe. Yeah, because it's 5 p.m. on the 15th for us on the Australian East Coast.
Yep. the dates I was saying were the installer unlock times.
Oh, were they?
Yeah,
Oh, right.
Yeah.
not
Okay.
the
Yeah.
yeah. This is just when you can install the game,
Right. Okay.
and download the patch. So
Yep.
yeah, pretty much like for anyone in Australia, pretty much just wake up, go get your game, install it, download the patch. You got heaps of time. You got all day to do that,
Yeah.
and then and then start playing at 5 p.m., which I actually don't mind because it means last time for StarCraft, I started playing at 12 and then I went to sleep at 10 a.m. Now, for this game, I'll get to start at 5 p.m., so I'm going to last for like heaps longer. I'm going to be playing this game for a long time before I die. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm gonna have to work that day.
Yeah, that
So
sucks.
yeah. I had a I had a discussion because for us it's us Aussies it's been a bit annoying I think because for example in my case I ordered it at the Brisbane City store because that's the place that was going to have the big midnight launch. They had the midnight launch for StarCraft 2, and after it had all been worked out that we would have no midnight launch because it's just released at 5 p.m. and no one would show up that night. It was just a little bit frustrating because they wouldn't transfer my pickup point. So that was EB, and I couldn't pick it up from the local store anymore. Now I have to go into the city during the middle of the day when it's a bit of a difficult time for me to get there. Nope. So I was talking with the missus about it, and she was all, well, why don't you just pick it up the next day? And I was like, you don't understand me.
No comprende.
Well, haven't you been listening for like 3 months? But anyway.
I can't wait 1 minute past 5 o'clock. I have to have it then.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So now we've got a couple of threads from the D3 forums to talk about. Let me get it. So I didn't really want to talk about this because I just get annoyed with whinges, but the one of the chosen feats of strength. Now I didn't get this because I didn't get the beta. I played it on the open weekend and that was it. But there's been, for anyone that doesn't know, people that actually got the beta, the closed beta on their account, have been rewarded with, it's a sigil, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just a sigil. So yeah, is it actually an achievement in the game? Do you know?
So you have your achievements, which whenever they're talking about achievements, they're typically talking about ones where you have to work in game to do something and you get 10 points.
Yep.
If it's outside of the game, then it will be in the achievement section, but it will be called a feat of strength.
Right.
And there are no points associated with it.
Yep. Okay. Cool. So I think, a lot of people who were, really devoted, fans of the game, like myself, I love the game. I've played both 1 and 2 heaps. I think people are getting annoyed that, they missed out on something that is just pure luck. Not only did they miss out on the beta, they've now missed out on this feat of strength. But, come on. It's a sigil. It's not that big of a deal. Really. I hope I'm not pissing people off by saying that. Did you
Once they get the game, they'll forget about it, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
They'll be enjoying themselves too much.
Yeah. Cool.
I gotta say, I kind of get it.
Yep.
Like, you're going to have that sigil that no one else can get, and you got purely by luck. And, some people are going to hit you up and say, hey, how'd you get that?
Right.
I have one in StarCraft, because I was an e-ticket holder for, BlizzCon 2011.
Yep.
I've got the little Panda Marine,
Yep.
or Pandaren Marine, one
Yep.
or the other, portrait, which is cool. And, I wore that for a while, and I'd get people asking me, where'd you get that? And I felt like, I was more important than I really am for that brief period of time, And look, whilst I'm not going to get it because I didn't get the beta key myself, I scabbed off a friend. I'm not going to get it, and I'm a little bit disappointed because it was purely luck based, and I do understand getting frustrated. Now the scale of frustration, totally stupid,
Yeah.
and why Blizzard even did this is beyond me. If they did it to people who played in the open beta weekend, if they gave it to them, that would make sense to me because it's like everyone had a chance to get it.
Yep.
If you're on top of it, if you're interested in the game, you had a crack at it.
Yep.
But
you know what? I just had like the best idea. What they really should have done, anyone that submitted a bug report should have got this.
Yeah.
That would have made more sense. Because, you know, heaps of people play it, but not everyone submits bug reports.
That's true. I didn't submit one.
you. I was going to call you something, but I decided not to because I'm trying to keep it clean. Cool.
Oh, fuck, why'd you do that?
Oh, no. That's terrible. Cool. All right. Awesome. The next topic is one that I chose. And I think it's something that I've thought about a lot playing Diablo 2, being someone who loves the game and having a lot of friends that like it, but, you know, not as much as me. You know, playing the game, I always want to naturally play it with them. But there's always that level difference. So anyway, the thread is... Oh, that's not the right thread. Here it is. The thread is... This game's really messy to play with friend, which doesn't really make much sense. But anyway, what it's about is, you know, the difference between levels. You know, Hectic, who's made the thread, said it's impossible to play with friends after the initial get-go. All it takes is one player to play for a few extra hours, you know, and now his friends are under-leveled, which means he has to repeat quests and level extremely slowly. So it's one of those things, you know, if you've ever played the game, there's always that level match problem. Patrick, did you have any thoughts on this?
Oh, look, it was interesting. Like but it's a game where you level up characters, so it just sounded kind of pointless to me. You know, you're not going to be able to get a game where you grow a character and build him up over time, or her up over time, and you know you don't have this sort of issue. One thing, the game's much more flexible than it used to be. You're only limited by difficulty now, not even by act. So if you come in at level 1 in a brand new game, you can join the guy who's right near the end. You know, which is a lot better than it used to be. And I know when I played Diablo 2, and I'm going to do it again for Diablo 3, I would have, you know, like particular friends who I knew, like I really liked, wanted to play with them, and I didn't play as much as they. Sorry, I played way more than they did.
Yeah.
And so I would, you know, that friend starts up a Amazon, and I would start up a barbarian to play with that Amazon, and I wouldn't play him when that friend wasn't around.
Yeah.
But when that friend wasn't around, and none of my friends were around, I didn't have that little, you know, match made in heaven set up. Then I had that one character that I soloed on.
Yeah.
But you know, it's pretty unavoidable.
Yeah. I suppose in the end, I guess with Diablo 3, I ended up having, you know, so many characters that usually it wouldn't matter too much what level my friend was at. I always had one that was sort of close to what they were at, you know, like if they were, you know, a certain level, I'd be like, well, my, you know, druid is 28, so I can use him and play with you, you know. So I suppose that's one thing. The only thing I thought is, I think one thing I guess to keep in mind is if you're like way higher level than a friend who doesn't play the game that much, it's no fun for them to be following you around while you just smash everything because it's way lower level than you. That's like not a good way to get someone into the game. Yeah.
It's
yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry, it's just one thing that's different about this game that's kind of relevant is that because you don't have a set build that's locked in, and you know you can effectively infinitely respec. You know, you can change your skills, and unlike Diablo 2 where they were set, you don't have a reason to go back and start a random new build.
Yep.
I'm going to have, eventually, all of these 5 classes, I'm going to have level 60 softcore characters off. It's going to take time, but
Yep.
I'm going to get there.
Yep.
And then after that stage, it's like, well, I'm going to feel like I'm not achieving anything, or I'm not doing anything productive, so to speak.
Yep.
I'm not growing any character if I go back and just play with a random friend.
Yep.
Whereas before it'd be like, okay, cool, I can, so-and-so starting up, cool, I'll play through with him,
Yeah.
and I'm going to try that, ranged barbarian build I was playing.
That really weird, build. Like the I think the weirdest build I ever did was the barbarian shout barbarian, where he had like one shout that did damage, and you had to build all these mana items so you could just jump into a group of guys and use shouts. Anyway, that's way off topic. So yeah. Anyway, so did you have anything to say on that, Curtis?
No, just about the statistics, really. Like,
Yep.
how, what is it? You've only got 5 levels of difference you can play within before you start getting XP deducted.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Pretty
to
crazy.
try and keep it into 5 level difference.
Yeah,
Is a good
but
idea.
And then also, like, I don't think levels matter as much in this game.
Right.
Like, because you're supposed to get to level 60 by the end of hell, so that shouldn't take that long.
Yep.
Like, in the grand scheme of things, most people are going to be level 60s anyway, so it won't matter too much.
I
In my
suppose.
opinion.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Cool.
True.
All right. Well, with that, I guess we'll go on to the next one, which is a topic on the Diablo 3 Down Under forums. If you guys haven't been there, it's a pretty cool little Australian and New Zealand community. They got a forum. They got I think they got 700 members. I'm going to check that now because I might be wrong. Where does it say? I can't find it. Anyway, they got a lot more members than I expected. 400. Okay, it's 442 at the moment, and it could be more. So, anyway, this thread is done by Tortal, and it seemed to be a topic that came up on the Diablo forums as well. When will Inferno be beaten? It's pretty much just I guess everyone's sort of putting in their thoughts of when Inferno will be beaten. Have you got a date, Patrick? Have you crunched
I'm
the
going to
numbers?
defer to Curtis because I'm pulling up my research.
Okay, Curtis.
In the thread, he said he thinks about a month, which, I don't know, I think that's a bit too long, really, because so many people are going to be playing this 24/7 for a week straight, and I'm pretty sure people will be sharing accounts and stuff just to try and win that race.
Yep.
So I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it only took a week.
Really?
Probably more realistically, I'd say 2 weeks, but if someone did do it in a week, I wouldn't be that surprised.
Wow. That's okay.
Big call, I suppose, but yeah. It's just,
Yeah.
you can't underestimate people, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say.
Yep. That's interesting.
Alright.
Were you
I'm
gonna say
ready.
something? Yeah. Okay. Go.
Just thinking back, as soon as I saw this, I thought, D2, who was the first person to get to level 99? Because beating Hell wasn't quite such a big achievement as it could have been. And so, yeah, the first person to reach 99 was a guy called Gerbarb, and Barbs were way OP on patch 1.02 or whatever it was at the time. And but he had a whole team of people working around the clock to get in there. So he would join game. They had 30 people or something stupid, all Germans, hence the name, and competing with Rustbarb for Russians who were trying to do the same thing, by the way, which was very cool. But they would join a game. They would go right through the Arcane Sanctuary, get right up to Diablo, and then Gerbarb would come in, do the final swing, get the XP, and sort off onto the next one. And that's what people were doing. It was that organized. It was that efficient. There was about 15 people who were playing him over the time, and about 5 to 6 played him a lot. And it had a ridiculous amount of effort that went into it, and that got done within a couple of months. Yeah. So if there's people that are as organized as that and like item farming and whatnot, and they're all feeding that that optimal gear to that guy,
Yep.
then yeah, that's gonna happen pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe fortnight, maybe 3 weeks, something like that.
Mm.
For one guy to do it solo without aid, yeah, ages.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think there'll be teams like that are trying to get one character through, and people put money into it as well. Like they'll just buy items off the auction house as they go,
Yep.
just to make it all that much easier. So, yeah,
Yep.
I think a week or two.
Yep. Only time will tell.
Yes, it'll
Cool.
be interesting.
All right. Well, now we're on to the fun part of the podcast. Curtis's skill combos. I'm going to bring up a little presentation here. Where is it? Okay, open presentation. Cool.
So I can't see this, so you'll just have to cue me off, I suppose.
Yeah, I will do.
Cool.
So, basically, first, so I've chosen like one of each skill because Curtis came up with like 1,000,000 of these things, and
Came up with 12.
he came up with 12. Sorry,
That's right.
yeah, 12. But there's more in his brain, I know it. And they're going to be on the D3 Down Under forums, so if you want to check them out, they will be there. So first we've got the Barbarian. Now this one is all about Fury generation. Of course, the more Fury you pull in, the more secondary style attacks you can do, therefore the more damage you can do. So let's have a look. Got the skills up here. So first I'm just going to explain like what each skill does. Bash, which is the most basic skill of the Barbarian, it generates 6 Fury per attack, and if you add the Instigation rune, it generates an extra 6. So the next skill is Weapon Master. Now this has a variety of effects depending on what type of weapon you're using. And if you're using mighty weapons, it adds an extra 3 Fury per hit. If you're not sure what mighty weapons are, they are basically, the sickles and other barbarian-only weapons. That's what they are. So when you add those together, you get 6 from Bash, and then a 6 from the Instigation rune on Bash, and then 3 from the Weapon Master and the mighty weapons, which is 15 Fury per attack. Which is just massive. So, Curtis, have you like worked out? Does that mean that you can do a secondary attack every second hit or something like that?
Well, looking at some of the secondary attacks, most of them cost 20 Fury. Whirlwind costs 16 per second, I think it is.
Yep.
And a lot of them you can run to cost less, or you can even choose an extra passive. There's Animosity, which increases Fury generation by 10%. So I'm pretty sure you should be able to get 16 just from one hit. So you could even just do one bash and then do a really quick whirlwind if you wanted.
Yeah.
But yeah, if your attack speed's fast, then you can just max out your Fury real fast with that, like 15, 30, 45, 60.
Yep.
This goes up quick as.
Yep. So do you know how much Fury does a Barbarian have? I don't even know that.
100 max by default.
Yeah. Okay.
And it takes 10 seconds, I think, or 5 seconds to start degenerating.
Yep.
After yeah.
So basically, you do, what is it? 30. So once you do, 6 hits, you can basically regen your whole Fury. Or you can fill your whole Fury up. So yeah, that's pretty impressive. I guess that's something to bear in mind.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have anything else to say about that one? It's pretty basic.
Yeah, pretty straightforward, that one.
Patrick, did you have any opinions on it? Or anything
Cool.
to say? Yeah, it's pretty cool. Cool. All right, so let's go on to the next one. For the Demon Hunter, This one focuses on doing big AoE damage to packs. So the first skill is Spike Trap. So this is a trap that you put down on the ground that arms after 1.2 seconds and triggers when an enemy approaches. So if you put it down on a pack, it'll explode after 1.2 seconds, dealing 275 damage. Now, when you have the Sticky Trap rune, it kind of changes the way it works a little bit. The Sticky Trap rune, rather than putting it on the ground, you plant it on an enemy. And if the enemy dies within 30 seconds, you deal 404 percent weapon damage to enemies within 8 yards, which is pretty massive damage. But the trick is that you have to kill that enemy within the 30 seconds. So to help you kill an enemy that's within a pack, there's a few skills you can use with it. Mark of Death, that increases the marked enemy's damage. You mark an enemy, and it increases damage done to them by 12%. So just gives you a little bit extra damage on an enemy that you choose for the next 30 seconds. Impale, so if you had the beta, you would have had Impale. Just does 250% weapon damage to the target that you aim it at. Now it hits whatever is, in the direction that you cast it in. So if you're trying to hit an enemy in the middle of the pack, it's not going to hit them unless you use the Overpenetration rune, which basically means that it will pierce through all the enemies in a straight line. So that's allowing you to, damage that guy in the middle of the pack. Now that's going to make the what is it, the first one? Sticky bomb explode, dealing the 404% weapon damage. So that's going to take out packs pretty quickly. Anything else to add to that, Curtis?
Yeah, it just does a lot of damage, and it just makes it a bit more interesting. Like, instead of just casting a fireball, you got this little combo you got to do, so it just makes it a bit more of a fun build to play, and it's effective at the same time.
Yeah. I wonder how long it would take to... I suppose it depends on the enemy, but 404% is a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage.
It's AoE as well. It's small, but I mean, if you got a pack.
Yep.
Yep. I thought just the order in which you do them was interesting, just because you'd probably mark them for death first, and then pop the bomb on them. Yep. Just because you don't want to be spending your time shooting at them once you put the bomb on.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, I don't know how that casts. For example, I mean, if you have to get into melee range.
No,
then...
I think they're marked for death. Just acts like the curses did. I'm assuming that's how it works, because it doesn't say that you have to be in range or anything like that.
Yeah.
What about the spike trap though?
The spike trap. I was talking to someone else about this, and the default spike trap you can plant anywhere on the screen. It doesn't have to be on the ground. So we're assuming that the sticky trap works the same way, because it doesn't say that it works differently. So yeah.
That's interesting.
Oh, that's very cool then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a range class, so it makes sense to be able to do it from range.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. We'll move on to the monk. Now this is another really awesome combination for bringing down packs of enemies. I can't wait to use this. I reckon it's just going to be awesome. So, firstly, we have a skill called Sweeping Wind, which costs a lot of spirit, 75. So you surround yourself in a vortex that continuously deals 15% weapon damage to all enemies within 10 yards. So basically, 15% weapon damage to all enemies within 10 yards. One thing that I'm not sure about is how that works exactly. I suppose it's on cast that deals. No, it says continuously deals 15%.
No, I've seen a video of it, and pretty much you just turn it on, and you get this little blue kind of aura around you that's spinning. Yep. And whenever someone walks into it, there's kind of like a slashing visual effect that hits the enemies.
Okay.
So, and it has a sound effect as well. Like, I think in the video, like 3 monsters walked into him, and it's just all these like blue type wind blades hitting them.
Yep.
So yeah,
Okay.
pretty cool.
So it lasts for 6 seconds, and it's refreshed each time you strike an enemy with a melee attack. So I guess you just switch it on and you start hitting them.
Yeah.
Landing a critical hit has a chance to increase the vortex effect up to 2 times for a total of 45%. So basically, you switch it on, you start melee attacking, and then hopefully you land some criticals and it increases up to 45% weapon damage, which is a lot more significant than 15%.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So that's obviously, AoE damage. And then you've got Mantra of Conviction. Recite a mantra that causes all enemies within 20 yards to take 12% additional damage, and it lasts for 3 minutes. Now, you add the overall rune to this, and it just doubles the damage. So 24% extra damage when you have that mantra on, which I think I'm pretty much going to be using that mantra all the time, unless I join a game where another monk is. The next skill is Cyclone Strike. So the idea with this is you do the Cyclone Strike, which is it's the same animation as the kick, isn't it? Is that right, or am I wrong?
I think it's really quick, like it's surprisingly fast. I think he just spins on the spot.
Yep.
And there's kind of like just an implosion.
Yep.
For lack of a better word, and it just sucks enemies in, and it all happens within half a second.
Yep.
So if there's an enemy 34 yards away, it's just bang. Basically, half a second after you cast it, he'll be right next to you.
Right. So it pulls enemies within 24 yards, but with the implosion rune, it increases that to 34 yards. How much of the screen is that? Do you have any idea? I remember there was a picture released where someone worked it all out, but I couldn't find it. So, is that like
I'll try and find that picture.
from memory? 34 yards, I think, is most of the screen.
I think it's about 2/3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you're pulling them in. So you've got your sweeping wind going, doing hopefully the 45% damage, while you also melee attack. So you've got those two amounts of damage. You've got your extra 24% damage that you're doing to everything within 20 yards, and you're pulling them all in. So that's just going to be a lot of fun doing all that damage. Yeah. Anything else to say about it, Curtis?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Pretty much covered it.
Yep. Yeah, pretty exciting. Patrick, anything to say on that one?
No, not particularly. Looks good. The combo is stuff comes in close to you and it dies, and you have a skill that brings stuff in close to you. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So, Witch Doctor. Now, we briefly talked about this in the last podcast. This is the Circle of Life zombie... Oh, sorry, not zombie handler. The zombie dog thing. So, the sacrifice skill. Do you want to explain, Curtis, exactly what that is?
So pretty much if you have dogs summoned and you activate the sacrifice skill, every dog explodes for 275% weapon damage to all enemies within 12 yards of that dog.
Yep.
So if you've got, so if you're using the passive, that means you can have 4 dogs and all 4 of them are attacking an act boss. You activate sacrifice, then that's going to be 1,100% damage to that boss.
Wait, hang on. Say that again.
So since you got 4 dogs and
Yep.
all of them are doing 275 each,
Yep.
you explode all of them. That's 4 times 275, which is 1,100 damage.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
So when you do sacrifice, all of them explode. It's not just one at
Yeah,
a
it's
time.
not one by one.
Yep. Cool. And adding the next of kin rune to that gives you a 35% chance to resurrect a new zombie dog each time
Yep.
you use sacrifice.
Yeah. So if you work that out, if you've got 4 out, they've all got a 35% chance. You're pretty much guaranteed an extra 1 dog out of there.
Yep.
So you could just cast it twice
Yep.
and do what 1,375.
Yep. So just that, just having that rune on its own is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, with the summon zombie dogs skill, you can add the final gift rune to it, which gives you 50% chance to leave behind a health globe. The reason why this is good is because of the gruesome feast skill. Is that the right one?
Passive.
Yeah, passive.
Yeah, that's
right.
right.
I haven't got this one in my presentation, but that increases your intelligence and is it mana?
Yeah. So basically, when you've got this passive, usually when you pick up a health globe, you get X amount of life. But this passive means that you get the life, 10% of your max mana, and 10% intelligence for 10 seconds. And the intelligence can stack 5 times. So if you just kill a huge mob of monsters, go and pick up all the health globes, then you'll have 50% extra intelligence.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is pretty nuts for your damage output.
Yeah, that's going to increase it by a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the witch doctor relies on its intelligence in part to calculate how much damage it deals.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's what makes that so awesome.
Yeah. Yep. So there's also the Circle of Life passive, which gives you a 5% chance to create a zombie dog when an enemy dies within 12 yards. So that's like 1 in every 20 enemies. Is my calculations correct on that one?
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. So I'd say like once every 2 packs, depending on what kind of enemies you're killing, I guess. So that's just extra zombie dog without you needing to cast it.
I just want to make a note on that.
Yep.
You can't get more than 4 dogs.
Yep.
4's the absolute max. So if you've just cast summon zombie dogs, then that won't really be effective. But in the high difficulties, your dogs are going to be dying a lot anyway, and with you sacrificing them as well, then it'll still be very useful.
Yep. Well, it'll be interesting to see, like, how much you'll need to cast it with, the Circle of Life and the Next of Kin working together. Yeah.
Yeah.
The last one is another passive zombie handler, which just increases your maximum amount of dogs to 4 rather than 3. It also, what is it? The health of your zombie dogs is increased by 20%. So
Just survive a bit longer.
Yeah. Cool.
A bit complicated, that one, but yeah, it works if you can get it down. Or it should work, rather.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, this is all in theory, so I'm looking forward to trying it all out once we actually get the game. Yeah. Cool, so let's go on to the wizard. This is the last one. So the wizard one is all about arcane power. What is it? Like management?
Yeah, resource management, pretty much, and damage output.
Yep. So the first passive is Astral Presence, which just increases your maximum arcane power by 20. Now, the arcane power that works the same way as the Fury, right? It's just 100, and then you've got passives like this that can increase it. Is that right? Yeah. Cool. Add to that Power Hungry. Now, this is when you pick up health globes, you gain 30 arcane power. Then we have the Blizzard skill. Do you want to explain how that works, Curtis?
Yeah, so pretty much you just cast the Blizzard, just like very similar to Diablo 2.
Yep.
And you deal 210% weapon damage over 6 seconds.
Yep.
How much does that work out to be? That works out to be 35% per second.
Yep.
And it only costs, with the rune, it only costs 20 arcane power.
Yep.
And you can regenerate that in about 2 seconds, I think it is, because you get 10, like by default, I think it's either 10 or 12 arcane power per second.
Yep.
As regeneration.
Yep.
Yeah, so you get that back real fast.
Okay. And one thing that, I was wondering while I was looking at these is, 210%. What does that actually, work out to be? Once you, times it by your weapon damage, can you give me sort of like an example, just in like an actual number?
Well, okay, well, say your weapon does 100 damage per second.
Yeah.
Or it does 100 damage, sorry.
Yeah.
And
On
then you've got
average.
your,
Yeah.
then you got your intelligence, or your primary stat, and that's going to be within the hundreds. So that's going to put it up to 200 to 300 damage.
Yep.
And then you're going to do 210% of that. So you could be up to the thousands.
Yep.
Yeah, it just depends what items you've got,
And that's over
what level you are.
That's over the 6 seconds. So once you,
Yeah.
divide that by 6, or say, for argument's sake, 1,000. Whoops. 1,000 divided by 6. So 166 damage to an area per second.
Yeah.
Which, sounds like a lot. Now you add the snowbound rune to this, and it reduces the casting cost of 20 to 20. So, which is like nothing. It's such a big difference from 45, more than half. So, yeah. Now Arcane Orb as well. This also has the rune that reduces the casting cost to 20 from 35. So yeah, do you want to explain how those all fit together?
So basically, a lot of people focus on trying to make their damage as high as possible, but they don't really focus on their resource.
Yep.
So, like, it's all good to be able to do a bajillion damage up front, but if you can't keep that going, then it's kind of pointless. So, this is focusing on doing both. And the idea is that Arcane Orb does quite a bit of damage up front, 175 straight away, instead of having to wait 6 seconds.
Yep.
But the orbs are actually quite slow. So the idea is you put a blizzard up onto the pack, and it slows their movement speed, which makes it easier to hit them with the orbs.
Yep.
That makes sense, yeah. And then they're both cheap as chips, so you should be able to spam the orbs, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is one thing that I noticed when I played the beta. Like, I actually did have a lot of trouble hitting things with the orbs. Like, I was missing a lot more than I would have thought. Yeah, like, I remember in Diablo 2 we had the Arcane Orb, not Arcane Orb, I can't even remember what it was called now.
Ice Orb?
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
And I used to use that a lot and never had too much issue, but I suppose it worked a bit differently because it really did hit things all over the screen because of
because it spat out bolts. Yeah.
So yeah, but surprisingly, I stopped using Arcane Orb because I just kept missing things. I started using the Ice Blast thing instead.
Oh yeah, the laser.
So, yeah.
Should make it a bit easier with everyone being slowed down.
Yep. Cool.
And then you're stacking damage as well.
Yep. Patrick, are you excited about this wizard combo?
It's interesting. Definitely, when I was playing the beta, you walk into an area, you'd unleash all your orbs or whatever it was you chose, but you'd run out of resource pretty damn quick playing as the wizard, and you'd have to use those signature skills to build it all back up. So yeah, I really like the approach to this, looking at it from a resource perspective. That's very cool.
Yeah, it's definitely something that people are going to have to pay attention to when they get into Inferno. Yeah, cool. All right, well, a few last things. So when you guys actually get the game, are you going to be playing solo or are you going to be playing with a group? Patrick, have you got a bunch of people to play with?
I don't have anything all that specific sorted, so I might be doing a bit of solo right at the outset, but it just sort of depends. I've got friends of varying levels of interest. So we'll see how that goes. I am planning to do a hardcore series with Ziggy D,
Okay.
who's a big StarCraft fan, and I know
Yep.
through that.
Yep.
And he does a bit of he's been actually building up to this game by doing a whole YouTube series on playing Diablo 2 hardcore. So
Right.
he's definitely looking forward to it. So yeah, if he's around, then I might hit him up for a bit of hardcore action right off the bat.
I think,
But yeah,
definitely be interesting to watch hardcore. You need to have the webcam in the corner so you can see you freak out, when you almost die.
yeah, get the embarrassing shots. That's right. So we'll see. I haven't made any plans. Nothing set. I'm definitely not going to play public games. That's the only thing I know.
Yeah, right. I understand that. Curtis, have you got a bunch of friends you're playing with?
I do. Right now, I'm sitting in our second lounge, and to my left, there are two other PC setups. So we've got my two flatmates, and we'll be rolling as a three pretty much all the time.
Yep.
And just today I made a list of how many. I've got about 10 battle tags that I'll be adding on release.
Yep.
Which reminds me, I need to grab your one, Patrick.
Yep.
For people to rotate as our fourth, or to fill in if one of us isn't home, etc. So yeah, we're pretty sorted.
Cool. Yeah, I got heaps of mates that are going to be playing it. I think this is the first game in a long time where just everyone I know that I used to play video games with back in high school is playing. It's taken me back. Like, there's a lot of nostalgia. It's really weird. So yeah, I'm excited. I've got like 3 guys coming over for the launch night to play all night, and yeah, just a bunch more people playing with. There's too many people. I wish that it wasn't a max 4, but I understand why they did it. That's another discussion. Anyway, cool. Are you guys so you're going to be doing the hardcore series, Patrick, with Ziggy D? Are you guys going to be starting that like ASAP as soon as you get to level 10, or?
We've well, it depends. Don't have everything lined up completely. We're looking at scheduling some times to do it live streamed.
Yep.
So probably perhaps following the podcast on Monday nights.
Yep.
And then another session again, maybe Thursday nights or something like that. Maybe about 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So that's something we're looking at doing. But we'll see how we go. So we might just plan to stream, act bosses at those stages and do our bits of grinding in between.
Yep.
Just via YouTube, not focused on live play.
Yep. Oh, it sounds like fun. Cool.
Yeah. It's it will have that extra level of stress, the hardcore mode when you've got people watching you online, I'm sure.
Yeah. Curtis, are you playing hardcore? Are you a big hardcore fan?
No, I'm not. I'd cry too much if I died. Nah, I had one experience that put me off it.
Really? Okay.
Well, it wasn't actually me. I was living with one of my friends at the time, and his dad. He loves video games. He's probably in his 70s.
Wow.
I'm guessing, but yeah, he'd play hardcore all the time by himself. Like, he'd play offline, and I think he'd got up to hell with a necromancer. And one day he came storming down the stairs screaming, and it was the most rage I've ever seen in a person. I was scared. I was like, what the hell's going on?
Nerd rage from your retiree. That's
yeah.
You do not expect to see that.
I found out that he was on his way to kill Mephisto, and Uber Diablo spawned on him and killed him. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, that was pretty unfortunate for him. But yeah. And he'd been on that character for like half a year or something crazy like that. Just lost it all. So yeah, I don't think I'd like that.
Yeah, that's insane.
Ooh.
Is there anything else you guys want to mention before we finish it up? Or is that pretty much it?
I did have one small thing. Just with your preparing for Diablo 3 list, there was a tweet that occurred earlier in the week that had I think it was from Bashik, or maybe it was just a blue post. Actually, yes, it was a blue post that did suggest that you make sure you uninstall your beta. So if you still got that installed, just make sure you get rid of it prior to release. And there's also a folder or something that the uninstall specifically won't cover that it's important that you get rid of. So, John, I'm going to make sure you put that in the links below.
Okay, cool.
So you can check that out, get that done if you have your beta client still installed.
I tried to look for the uninstaller, but I couldn't find it within like 2 minutes, so I gave up and just resolved to the fact that it would have to live on my hard drive for the rest of this computer's life.
Well, I've saved your
I think
computer
I
that
should not
burden.
do that then now. Cool. All right. Well, I guess that is it for today. My name is John, or Huego on any game or forum you might find me on. I've had Curtis Weightless with me and Patrick Highlander. You can see our videos on youtube.com/Diabloherald or twitchtv.com/Diabloherald. Please like and subscribe to us. That would be wonderful. We're also on iTunes, so just search for us there and you'll find us, I'm sure. If you want to contact us, we hang out on the Diablo 3 Down Under forums a lot. It's just d3downunder.com. We're also on Twitter /Diabloherald. Pretty much any .com, just put /Diabloherald after it. You'll probably find us. You can email us at diabloherald@gmail.com. Also, check out Patrick's YouTube. He covers anything to do with achievements in any Blizzard game. So if you're an achievement person, go and have a look at that. It's youtube.com/ScottishMoo. Yeah, it's been good talking to you guys. Did you want to
Cheers.
say something? Okay, cool. See ya.